For the past 75 years, Cancer Care Services has provided help and hope to many different faces: spouses and partners, moms and dads, sisters and brothers, children and teenagers, grandparents, friends, and your circle of support. All have been served with compassion and genuine care by this local organization. And all programs and services are at no cost to clients. How are they free to those impacted by cancer in our community? Because someone cared enough to make them free. For the past 75 years, friends like you have ensured that your community has a place of hope for local cancer patients, caregivers, and survivors. Generous community philanthropy has kept cancer care growing strong and resilient since 1946. Cancer Care actively seeks to promote access, equity, and inclusiveness, and to discourage discrimination based on race, ethnicity, gender, age, sexual orientation, or other factors of which deny the humanity of all people. As we celebrate the past 75 years, a new journey begins. Our look is changing as we prepare for the next 75 years of cancer care. But the heart of our mission stays the same. With your help and in continued partnership with our community, Cancer Care will always strive to serve our mission each day. Because no one should cope with cancer alone. Happy 75th birthday, Cancer Care Services.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aura Recuero. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. I am a proud board member of Cancer Care Services, and I would like to welcome each and every one of you to the Cancer Care Services Heroes of Hope Luncheon. I'm very happy you're all here. Cancer Care Services, as you can tell, is celebrating his birthday today. So happy birthday, Cancer Care. Feliz cumpleaños. Those are 75 years, so thank you all for being here in our party today. On behalf of Cancer Care, I'd like to offer a very special thank you to our generous presenting sponsor and partner in battling cancer, Texas Oncology. Would you please help me give them a round of applause? I would also like to thank you, my fellow Cancer Care Board of Directors. We appreciate all you do for the mission throughout the year. Thank you to my table captains, because without your efforts, we wouldn't be here today. I have a very special thank you to say today to all of those of you that have attended a Cancer Care Aware Tour in our agency. I would like to encourage you, to those of you that you have not attended one of those, to visit with your table captain. Before I jump into the next paragraph, I would like to share a little bit of my personal story. When my father was diagnosed with cancer in 2011, I didn't know what to do. I was still a college student in a foreign country. So the only cancer resource I found at the time was MD Anderson. So for 3 years, I drove back and forth for my father appointments and chemotherapy from Dallas and Fort Worth. It was very hard. I can remember those difficult times. But that's why I'm here today, and I have made my personal mission to sit on the board of Cancer Care and let everyone know in this room that Cancer Care Services has great resources for families and patients just right here in our backyard in Tarrant County. And for my Spanish-speaking friends, I know it can be especially hard. I've been there. I can relate. Today marks a milestone for me, who 9 years ago came to this country without knowing how to speak a word in English. Thank you all for being patient with my Panamanian Texas accent. Appreciate it. So in honor of my father and those who have been impacted by cancer, I want to let you know that we are all here, and we thank you. Also, the stories that you will hear today will highlight how we will continuously support everyone impacted by cancer right here in Tarrant County for the next 75 years. So help me give a round of applause to Cancer Care Services.
Hello, I'm Melanie Wilson, and I'm the CEO of Cancer Care Services. Let's take a stroll down memory lane. How many of you enjoyed the swinging hits from the big band music of the 40s? Anybody enjoy that? Yay! Well, hopefully the music got you in the mood to step back in time with me. Cancer Care Services was born in 1946, right here in Fort Worth. Harry Truman was president. The average monthly rent was $35. The Andrews sisters were pop icons, and they still are today in my life. And It's a Wonderful Life was playing at the picture show. Tickets were 55 cents. But it was not a wonderful life for low-income cancer patients. So a group of incredibly progressive doctors and community leaders created a pioneering agency to help these patients. And their dream is what brought us here today. They created a legacy 75 years ago that has served around 150,000 people. Many of you have been around and been involved in making that happen. In the past decade alone, so this is just the past 10 years, we have given $4.5 million in financial assistance, like health insurance premiums and medication copays, directly to impoverished cancer patients and survivors, just like our founders envisioned. So clearly, our commitment to healing and hope remains as strong as today as it was in 1946. COVID has changed our world because something unthinkable happened, which was a global pandemic. COVID had a deadly impact on cancer. Screenings declined by 80 to 90% last year for the 3 most common cancers. Cancer did not decline, but mammograms and colonoscopies were canceled. This means cancer will be found at a later stage, and that lowers survival rates. So I know what it means to be diagnosed with cancer at a late stage because it happened to me. My cancer was found after it had already spread, so my treatments were more extensive and extreme, but I survived. My husband, Dana, his cancer was also diagnosed at a later stage, and like me, he suffered severe consequences as a result, but he survived. And then my teenage daughter was diagnosed with cancer, every parent's nightmare, and her cancer was at a late stage. Had we found Lauren's cancer early, surgery would have saved her life. But by the time she was finally diagnosed, she had metastatic cancer, and it was everywhere. So my beautiful Lauren died 16 days after her 21st birthday. But many of you have also experienced cancer in your lives too. Some of you are survivors, or maybe you've cared for someone with cancer, or maybe you've lost someone you love. Regardless of how cancer has impacted you, I hope you were surrounded by a loving circle of support like I was. But during my 11 years at Cancer Care Services, I have witnessed so many people who are not as lucky, they are going through this alone. And that's why Cancer Care Services exist. We become their support system. We become their family. And it's our honor to do that. So, during COVID, we provided uninterrupted services. We had to get really creative, and we had to be safe, but our services never stopped, not for one moment. We also added a COVID emergency fund to ensure clients' life-sustaining needs were met, like having a roof over their heads and having food on their tables. And although fundraising suffered greatly during the pandemic, our commitment to providing 100% of all of our programs and services for free never wavered. We also remained focused on reducing health disparities. So we actually expanded our community health worker program, and we formed brand new community partnerships. These service milestones were made possible because of our generous and loyal contributors and mission partners, including our wonderful Legacy of Hope Giving Society members. Thank you to all of you. I'm a member too. I love it. I would also like to thank Texas Oncology, our presenting sponsor. You not only are a financial supporter, but you provide compassionate care for so many of our patients, including me, including my husband, including my daughter. So thank you for what you do for us. My vision for Cancer Care Services is that because we are here, no one will ever have to cope with cancer alone. But I realize this is a really tall order because Cancer Care Services is in recovery mode due to the pandemic. Because of the alarming decline in cancer screenings, there are literally thousands of people right now who do not know they have cancer, and they don't know they need us yet. But they will, and we must be prepared. But how, you may ask? And I ask the same question. Well, first we have to recover what we lost during the pandemic. My greatest fear is that I won't always be able to say yes when a client comes to cancer care and asks for help. And when they've been diagnosed late, they're gonna need even more help. So I wanna make sure that we continue to do everything that we need to do for them. People after the pandemic, especially with cancer, on top of that, they're in more desperate situations, medically, emotionally, and financially. So speaking of financial desperation, these days, cancer patients need help with more than just their medical expenses. And so we want to keep our COVID emergency fund alive as long as there is a need. We must also do even more to reduce disparities in our county. Did you know that African Americans have the highest death rate, and shortest survival rate in the United States for our most common cancers? Shocking. Did you know that the #1 cause of death is cancer for our Hispanic population? So we have a lot of work to do. We must also do even more to really build up our community health worker program. These are specially trained people who go out into the community, and they build trust with our most vulnerable communities. So meeting the needs of local cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers matters. It matters to me, and I know it matters to you, or you would not be here today. So those of you who know me know that I'm a hugger. So I wish there was a way for me to give a big, grateful hug to every single person who rolled up their sleeves 75 years ago and brought this beautiful agency to life. Little did they know in 1946 that we would be gathered here today, and we would be honoring them and the hundreds of thousands of human beings whose lives have been forever changed because they did not cope with their cancer alone, thanks to us. So now we need you to ensure that cancer care thrives for another 75 years. Together, we can continue providing help and hope for free for everyone who is affected by cancer in Tarrant County. It's now my pleasure to introduce some friends who really want to share why they love cancer care and how it's impacted their lives, including a friend of mine, Kara Jackson. Kara's mother, Camilla Thompson, was our very first executive director. She served this agency for over 30 years. So thank you again for celebrating with us today and for supporting us. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Casey Hill is the love of my life. We've been married for 31 years. Life was awesome. The last son was getting out of college. We thought we get to travel, we get to live, we get to do what we want to do now. That semester he was to graduate, we found out Casey had cancer, and it totally flipped everything upside down in our lives. I noticed him trying to get up, and he was gripping his chest and could barely move. So we go to the emergency room, and the doctor comes out after they ran the CT and says, well, the malignant tumor that's in your husband's spine, we're gonna go ahead and get him admitted and have oncology come down. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. We're just in the emergency room for chest pain. But it wasn't a chest pain problem at all. It was the pain that was radiating from the malignant tumor that was in his spine. And we had no idea. My struggle was trying to find someone to talk to and trying to find some help for my family. You feel desolate, you feel alone when you're having to deal with being a caregiver and everything that's around it. So when a person is diagnosed with cancer, their fight is with cancer. But the people who care for them, their fight is everything around cancer. And it's difficult. When my husband was diagnosed with cancer, about 3 months later, my sister was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, and she passed away in June of 2019. During that weekend, because she died on my granddaughter's birthday, then I had to I got to drive my husband to Little Rock for a stem cell transplant, as well as plan funeral services, as well as still try to celebrate my grandbaby and make her smile. It was tough. There's a lady, Carlene King, and I called her and I said, Carlene, I don't want to do this. It's too much for one human being. And she said, you can do this. She said, I've seen you fight through some things in this life that this is nothing. You and God got this. The strength of listening to someone say, you can do this, helped. And I know I can get that here at Cancer Care Services.
My mother was the executive director for 32 years, and I started in junior high. I started coming to Cancer Care, and her office was in Peter Smith in a closet. What I remember most is her talking about paying bills for patients and arranging transportation and medicines and things like that. It was a very hands-on thing. She would be absolutely blown away with the immense organization that it is today. My best friend from Rockport called me and she said, oh my gosh, you've got to go get a mammogram. She said, I've just been diagnosed with breast cancer and you have to go right now. Lo and behold, I had breast cancer. I volunteered all my life. My mother did as well. I've always thought about, those people that I'm volunteering for, and we're going to help those people. Well, all of a sudden I was one of those people. I remember having lunch with Deanna and Melanie, And they said, well, how are you doing? I said, oh man, I am great. I am just I'm good. I'm finished. I feel great. I'm just horrible. Anyway, Deanna whipped out her card and she said, we have people that can help. You know, they just connect. They connect people to other agencies, and I know what they can do. There's so many nonprofits in the community, and this is one that really and truly helps people.
Life before Jessica's diagnosis was very free for us in that we enjoy traveling and planning where we're going next. We had just come back from a trip from Ireland.
I thought I hurt my back. My back pain continued to get worse. Went and saw a physical therapist. So he did the scan, and it was showing a tumor was crushing my vertebrae. During those scans, I was trying to get up off of the scan bed to get repositioned, and I didn't know at the time, but something snapped and my vertebrae broke, and I couldn't walk.
You know, as a husband, watching your wife go through this is very difficult. You know, you see her go from a full-time active nurse, rambunctious and ready to go on trips, to just very physically unable. And, you know, it's hard.
We lost a lot of our, at the time, close friends because they didn't know what to say, they didn't understand it, so it was easier to kind of step back than be involved in the tough, hard discussions. But I remember someone, she was a nurse navigator, and she reached out to me, and she ended up letting me know about a young adult support group. And that's where that I started finding out more programs and about cancer care services and what they were doing for cancer patients and survivors. The main experience I think of is when we went to the retreat in April of 2021. We just got so much enjoyment out of it, and it kind of made you forget about a lot of the doctor's appointments and things at that time. You just kind of got to experience new things and enjoy yourself.
Jessica was just finally starting to get to where, you know, we were going on walks again and stuff. And we go to this retreat, and they split you into different groups, and it's, okay, you know, we're going to go ahead and climb this 30-foot pole first. Let's just get this day going. In my mind, well, in both of our minds, we were like, you know, this will be good to at least get, at minimum, a few steps in and kind of figure out, like, hey, you know, see where my limits are, you know. So I go up first. I'm waiting on the platform for her, and she starts, and I'm watching. I'm like, oh, that's cool. She's starting to go up. And then she gets to the top of the pole and lost it. It's just from going from a person that I've had to place in the shower to be able to climb this thing and go across and do this. I mean, it's one of the greatest moments of my life that I got to experience, was watching her do it.
Cancer Care Services represents exactly what their name says. I've met some very wonderful people. It's not even just a working relationship. I mean, there's a friendship that's came out of it. They truly do care about their client.
That's more of a blessing than I think some people could even ever realize. It's just being there and caring. So keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am so thrilled for us to be reunited today to share our personal experiences and insight into a favorite program, which is Camp Care. A week-long camp for kids impacted by cancer. Before we talk about our experiences, we would like to take a moment to introduce ourselves. I am Cameron Brown. I am a retired Fort Worth firefighter, and I currently work at Cook Children's as a chaplain and teach at TCU. I am also a volunteer and board member at Cancer Care.
Hi, I'm Catherine Soni, and I'm a licensed master social worker, and I first connected with Cancer Care Services almost 20 years ago for a social work internship. I was able to reconnect with Cancer Care Services through my work as a school counselor at Fort Worth Country Day, and just personally, I am a donor, and I'm now a volunteer.
Hi, I am Kathy Bennett. I'm an elementary art and music teacher. I'm also a recent breast cancer survivor, so thank you, Texas Oncology. I learned about cancer care through the Fort Worth Adolescent and Young Adult Oncology Coalition, and I will be a member of their Patient Advisory Council this year.
Thank you, Kathy. Catherine, how would you describe Camp Care to someone?
And it's hard to sum it up, but I would describe it as an escape. And when I say escape, I don't mean that the kids forget about the reality of cancer, but they have 1 week where they are together and being cared for and connecting with others who can appreciate and understand their struggle and their experience. And I would say for everyone, it's just a very strong sense of community.
Thank you.
It was a great experience. It's a camp, everybody gets together and they just get to do these fun activities, and then there's also therapy sessions. And so it's just a wonderful experience where kids get to come together with others who have gone through the same experience.
Thank you. So, Kathy, please help us to understand, you took a whole week out of your time, your busy schedule to come to Camp Care. So help us to understand why you chose to do that.
Yes, during my cancer diagnosis, due to that, I actually taught virtually from home all last year. So I wasn't around anybody, especially kids, and I really missed just being around kids. They bring a lot to my life, and I wanted to give back to those going through the same journey of that I can relate to. And then I learned about Cancer Care, or Camp Care, because I was a beneficiary of a lot of the resources that are given to patients and survivors and caregivers. And so I did want to make sure that I was able to give back and make a positive impact in the cancer world. And it was just a fun way to spend my time and, again, be around kids.
Okay, thank you, Catherine, tell us a little bit about why you chose.
Right, and it's the same for me, just wanting to give back. Over the years, I have really felt like almost a sense of duty to give back to Cancer Care Services, because I know they gave so much to me through my internship. They shared their knowledge, their time, their model of care for their clients, and I feel like that did help shape my social work practice today. It was very important. And so it was just my way of volunteering to show my appreciation and my support. And also, I do have some time in the summer, and I do love working with kids. And so this was just the right fit for me.
Okay, thank you. Both Catherine and Kathy, you've painted us a beautiful picture of Camp Care. Now, using our rich, colorful words, we will describe some of those experiences. Kathy, will you?
Happily. Yes, happily. So there's a ropes course I had 20 feet in the air, and kids are tethered, but they have to climb up, and kids were pretty scared at first. They didn't want to do it, so with some very light encouragement, most of them tried, and it was just great getting to see their pride and excitement, even if they didn't make it all the way to the top. Just the fact that they conquered that fear, it was really great to see that, just how proud of themselves that they were. And I just love seeing their faces. Some of them rode horseback for the first time. We did yoga, and some of them had never tried that before. And then I'm a music teacher, and so I loved the music therapy part. because it showcased how music can really impact you and how powerful it can be. And it was also just wonderful to have these professionals come in and work with the kids and kind of show them different techniques and activities you can do when you're going through something so difficult.
Thank you. Every morning when you would drive through the gates of Camp Carter, you would notice the beautiful blue sky and the billowy clouds, and then the clouds would float across the sky and open up to the beautiful sunshine. Ecotherapy is a healing power of nature, and we spent a lot of time outdoors. One day we hiked to the equestrian center, taking time to smell the flowers and to chase the butterflies along the way. When we arrived at the arena, we were greeted with the rich organic smell of horse manure. So many of these children had never smelled horse manure, so they didn't know what it was. And so it was a wonderful opportunity, like Kathy said, for them to be able to ride horses and to be close to them. Each new activity brought anticipation and excitement. Laughter reverberated across the camp, and that is why I would trade any day in the real world for one moment at camp. So, Catherine, what was most impactful to you?
There were so many things that were impactful, but overall, as I was there for the week, I would think about all the camps where I've worked, and I know a quality camp when I experience one, and I feel that camp care is really all about quality. From the campgrounds and facilities to all the activities that are planned for the kids, the therapy groups, everything that was there for them, the volunteers, the staff. It's all an amazing experience, and it's completely free for the families. There's no cost for them to enjoy all of that. So that was very impactful for me, especially. We would have, all these experiences and the freebies, and I would get excited about it. And when I would show my excitement, I don't know where Megan is, but our wonderful camp director would always say, there you are. She'd always say, we have this because we have awesome donors, and period. That's what she said every time. And so as a volunteer and as a donor, that was very impactful for me because I felt like I was able to experience firsthand what our contributions are doing for the families and how they're impacted. So that's the most meaningful for me.
Thank you. Kathy, what was most meaningful for you?
I helped, I would say, lots of things, but for me, I think it was parent pickup at the end of the day. It was just rewarding to hear how excited the kids were when they got picked up and how much they wanted to share when they were picked up. And then we also got to hear from the families and just how grateful that they were able to have this time away to take care of things that they needed to take care of, but also know that their kids were in a safe place, making these wonderful, positive, impactful, and lasting memories. So that was really impactful for me, but personally, I also have to say that as a cancer survivor and a recent one, I have to say that it was beneficial for me in ways that I can't describe either. Just being there for the week and getting to spend my time and give back was just amazing.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you all for your heartfelt stories. And I guess one of the things that was most impactful for me is that, like Kathy said, we were able to engage with the parents in the evenings when they would come and pick up the kids. And one mother, she talked about how appreciative she was for her children to be able to attend camp that week. And one of the things that she appreciated most is that they would have food to eat. She said she knew that they would have lunch and they would have snacks, because her family was really going through a very tough time and unable to afford food. And she went to a local food pantry and asked for food. She had been a volunteer there, and she was greeted by the words, "Why are you here? You and your husband have a job, you work." And so she felt very shamed, but she was able to express to us. So Cancer Care was able to connect her with our local resources, and they provided food and continue to provide food. So it is about connection and that sense of community at Cancer Care Services. At this time, Cancer care camp care is one piece of what cancer care does. And it is certainly one of the most talked about programs. This is because so many of us smile knowing there is an outlet for children of all ages and backgrounds to come together with a lived experience connected to cancer. We mentioned community and connection, therapeutic, nurturing, and joyous to describe cancer care and camp care as a whole. It is the rippling effects to these children, teens, and their families that stretch way beyond the camp experience. Providing holistic services is paramount to cancer care's mission. We know cancer brings untold challenges, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial. And I'm so glad our community has cancer care services as a resource. Speaking on behalf of the three of us, we are incredibly grateful to Megan and Tori and Cancer Care Services to have this opportunity to volunteer for camp care and personally experience with this special time that we had with these campers. Feelings and gratitude are the foundation of being able to serve others. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Cameron, Catherine, Kathy. We appreciate each and every one of you for sharing your passion and sharing some stories about camp care. Hi, everyone. I'm Stevie Don Carter. I'm a proud volunteer, a board member, and a Legacy of Hope Giving Society member for this amazing organization. So I have the microphone and I have the chance to say, happy birthday, Cancer Care! Woo! I even wore my birthday jacket. Exciting times. Thank you all for being here. My mom is a 4-time cancer survivor, and as a caregiver, I know how difficult it can be to go through a cancer journey with someone you love. While my mom is a 4-time survivor, cancer is never far from our minds, especially in these last couple of years. I'd like to take a moment to do a demonstration with you all, if that would be okay. I'd like you to please stand next to your table if you, like my mother, are a cancer survivor. Would you please stand? There are not adequate words for us to express how much it means that you all are here with us today. And please remain standing for just another minute, please. Please join the survivors in standing if you have had a member of your family diagnosed with cancer. Perhaps a spouse, a child, a brother, a sister, an aunt, an uncle, a parent, a grandparent. Stand with us if you've had a close friend, a coworker, or a neighbor who's been diagnosed with cancer. Please take a moment to look around the room. Nearly everyone has been impacted by cancer. It does not discriminate. It touches all races, all income levels, and all ages. Thank you for sharing that. Please sit down. Now today, we are celebrating, and it is my privilege to ask you to celebrate with us by helping us to grow our Legacy of Hope Giving Society. I'm asking you to join me as a member of the Legacy of Hope Giving Society, because with your help, we can make an impact in this community over the next 75 years, and maybe 75 after that, maybe another 75 after that. Table captains, if you could please at this time, take out your bags and pass out envelopes to each person at your table. You should all get a packet. We definitely have teachers in the room who are doing the pass, take one and pass method. Love it. Now, if you are here today and you have previously pledged your support, we thank you and we're so grateful. It's because of you that we are able to plan and prepare for 5 years down the path. We would ask you to consider paying off your pledge early or increasing the amount. You can do that on the back of your card. Here's the thing about the Legacy of Hope Giving Society. It's the sustainable, unrestricted funding that grows the mission of Cancer Care Services. It allows us to walk alongside you on your cancer journey, as well as be your circle of support and help everyone in this community. Today, we are seeking to increase our Legacy of Hope Giving Society by 25 new members today. And the Amon Carter Foundation has given us a matching gift of $25,000 to help us reach our goal. They are matching first-year pledge payments of 25 new Legacy of Hope Giving Society members. That could be one person at each and every table that we have here today. By pledging $1,000 a year for 5 years, which is only $84 a month, or as our board chair, Jesse Booher, likes to say, it's $2.80 per day. You can tell he's in the accounting world, can't you? But with that amount, you could help in the mission recovery from the collateral damage that has been caused by the continuing pandemic. We need to keep saying yes to the thousands of people who ask for our help each year, perhaps to someone you know. And your 5-year pledge at this $1,000 per year level ensures the continuation of help and hope so that no one has to cope with cancer alone. Now this year, we have a very special Legacy of Hope Giving Society level to honor our 75th birthday. By pledging $1,500 a year for 5 years, you could impact the cancer care mission with an overall gift of $7,500. Help launch cancer care into the next 75 years of service through this special birthday celebration of giving. By making an investment of $10,000 each year for 5 years, you could make a significant impact on the continued need for COVID emergency funds. The investment could serve 10 cancer patients currently receiving cancer treatment. Our top 3 emergency assistance needs that our program team has seen in the past 18 months include these 3. Rent or mortgage payments, because we need to keep our cancer patients in their homes. The second one is utility bills, because we know we got to keep the AC on for the Texas heat and the heater coming in the winter. And the third one is food costs. We need to keep food on their tables and food in their bellies. The top Giving Society level is a pledge of $25,000 a year for 5 years. This level of strategic partnership would allow us to sustain and grow our community health workers, who are key to reducing cancer disparities in the vulnerable communities throughout Tarrant County. Each new investment at this level supports a part-time community health worker serving in these communities that have not yet found cancer care, but they need our programs and services. For those of you that prefer to give at a different level, thank you. Please let us know how much you would like to give and for how many years at the bottom of the form. Your contribution today makes an immediate impact on the clients we are serving right now. Maybe you would like to make a gift of stock or other wealth transfers. If so, just check the box provided and we'll contact you for additional details. Thank you all so much for being here today in our celebration of our 75th birthday. It is now my honor to introduce, to close out our show, our current board chairman, Mr. Jesse Booher.
Thank you, Stevie Don. Before I close, we need to thank the cookie lady. So, Ms. Gibbons, would you please stand? Please stand. Gotcha. I'm Jesse Booher, a cancer survivor and board chair of Cancer Care Services. And on behalf of all the board members and staff, I thank you for attending and supporting our 75th birthday. We hope you will share what you have learned and heard today. If you haven't joined us for a Cancer Care Aware Tour, which you should, I invite you to attend online or in person in the near future and learn more about the impact of your support. Now, no birthday party ends without singing Happy Birthday. So everyone, please stand. Everybody know the words? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cancer Care Services.